Anyway, Johnny gets upset about open-toe shoes, so I forgot mine. So Hello, this is Grant Cole with Kit McConico coming to you from Huns Field in Austin, Texas, for the Red River Rugby Championship Rugby Conference Women's D1 D2 Hybrid Final, a match that decides which team from Texas represents the women's D1 in Tucson and which team represents the women's D2. Kit, you watched the Hark team just basically clip the Roses yesterday. What did you think of that Hark in that match?
Well, as you said, it'll be Houston Athletic, Harks, and the Austin Valkyries today. The winner goes to Tucson for Division I, a loser representing Division II. Two similar teams. Very impressive work from Harks yesterday. An easy victory over Oklahoma Roses of Norman. Really took it to them. They have an impressive pack, impressive forwards for that side. But keep an eye on the fly half. Gina Stefano had 4 tries. If she gets the ball in space, almost impossible to stop one-on-one.
Yeah, G's definitely got some pace behind her and a lot of experience. She's played for Stars 7, Atlanta 7. She's traveled all over the world playing rugby. And, of course, she's a graduate of a program that's near and dear to my heart, the program that actually brought me into rugby. That's Texas A&M Women's Rugby.
Yeah, she's one of the best, so keep an eye on number 10. For the Valkyries, you got to see them play yesterday, the local side. A lot of fans out here supporting them. As you take a look at Harks on the far side, their final pregame words. These two teams similar, maybe a bit of experience on the side of Harks, youth on the side of the Valkyries. Who will be served today?
Well, you know, Hark's gonna have to contain Sarah Parsons, the Valkyries number 8. She's a strong player, strong runner. She scored 3 tries yesterday against Little Rock, and she's gonna get ball in hand and go today. Carla Navarrete, she is definitely somebody who can take the ball on the angle and be devastating ball in hand. Then finally on the outside, the speedster Sierra Jenkins, graduate of University of Texas. She's played in some big games for UT women, and she knows how to have that big match temperament when she needs it.
That's our final match of the weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Welcome all of you joining us, and happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there, live on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube channel, powered by T5RDG. As you said, Kit McConico, Grant Cole with you. So pleased you could join us. It has been a fantastic weekend here at the Huns Rugby Complex in the live music capital of the world. For this weekend, the epicenter of Lone Star State Rugby. We've had great matches today. 2 champions already been decided. Congratulations to the Euless Texans, our Division III men's champion, and to the Little Rock Stormers, our Division II men's champion. 2 more champions set to be decided in this one. As you said, a hybrid championship match. The winner will be the Division I champion representing D1 in Tucson. The loser, they will be the D2 champion representing Division II in Tucson.
That's correct. And we got Mark Eugen, who's going to be handling the duties in the middle. He's ARs are Joey Swatzel, and looks like it's not Kelly Hodge. I can't remember the gentleman's name on the other side, but we definitely have a good team of 3 in the middle today, so it's not going to be a rough game for them. Like the rest of the day, we've had clean matches so far. The ARs have been on top of things. Should have a clean match here as well as we move forward.
Well, the good news, Grant, rain subsiding for the time being. May see a bit more in the future, but it has been raining off and on all day here in the capital city of the great state of Texas. But right now, starting to see a bit of sun peeking out. Rain is gone. The wind has even died down, so perfect weather for this rugby match. Harks of Houston, they will be kicking off in the white tops with the red stripe, navy shorts, and the red socks. Kicking to the Valkyries. Valkyries in those striped black and red, black shorts and black socks. Going from left to right is Austin.
Austin with the ball now. Starting out with some runs by their forwards. Jacqueline Acosta down the field.
Austin has very good forward play. If there's an advantage for Harks, it may well be in that pack. They have some good size in that front row of Pepper Buckner and Nick James. Now an opportunity. Harks looking dangerous early on. Some running room and a big tackle.
And that went straight into touch. little bit of poor decision making there by Cherba. She's going to want that one back.
Yeah, Denise Cherba, the inside center, very impressive in yesterday's semifinal victory.
Cherba's played a lot of rugby at the University of Michigan, as well as at Ann Arbor before she moved to Houston and worked in the oil and gas industry.
The line out. Coming for the Valkyries, set to take it the hooker, Brittany McGee.
The Valkyries got to be happy with this kind of start in the game. Line out inside Hark's 22-meter.
Taken well, Valkyries moving it quickly. An opportunity, cutting back in, drugged down was Claire Tilton. Offloaded, good defending. Valkyries with some room, going forward at the 5-meter line.
And there's Sarah Parsons. I told you about her. She's a danger with ball in hand.
Out it goes, pass behind the intended recipient, but stays with the Valkyries. Well defended by Harks, deep in their own end.
Looks like penalty advantage is on. And Mark, you know it's knock-on advantage is on, and Hark's going to get a scrum here and some relief from that pressure inside their own 22.
The scrum coming. Sun showing itself for the first time today. That's a welcome sight. Big thanks to our entire crew here, T5RDG. We have great crew, everyone, our production, cameramen. They've weathered the storm very literally. Been out here bringing you all this coverage. Could not do it without them as Harks have the scrum. Out it comes. Put a boot to it. Bouncing all the way back to Jenkins. Jenkins unable to come up with it, bobbles it, and finally has it tackled immediately.
And Stefano up there strong on that to stop that counterattack.
Yeah, we mentioned Gina Stefano, fantastic yesterday. She is a speedster and a huge engine, room for days. Bowing down is Parsons. Parsons lost control of it.
And Lockwood Myers knocked it on. Mark Hugens well, and on top of that, another scrum going to the Sharks.
Yeah, we've had phenomenal officiating this entire weekend, and we will today in our final match. Mark Hugen, the man in the middle. Again, big thanks to the Austin Huns, our host for this weekend. Huns D1 side up in Dallas, taking on the Griffins yesterday. Now the scrum. Out it comes. Harks with it. Deep in their own side. Kicking over the top. Taken but not cleanly by Kennedy. And another quick whistle.
Cherba and Stefano come up fast there.
Keep an eye on Stefano, as I said. Cherba, deceptively quick, is the inside center for Harks. Cherba came on at the end, had a try from about 40 meters out at the end of their semifinal victory over the Oklahoma Roses.
They're definitely testing that back three of the Valkyries right now.
Into touch goes the kick.
Not the longest kick, not the kick downfield that you'd like, but you got possession, you got to line out and attacking position from there. Hark really needs to get out of that end of the field and get into the Valkyries end.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Cherba, the native of Stevensville, Michigan, former University of Michigan Wolverine, veteran player, a lot of experience. The line out taken by Harks.
Knock-on advantage on for Hark. And none gained.
You know, Harks having trouble getting out of their own end. Pressure being applied by Valkyries and hoping to make something of it. Still no score early in this one.
Hark's been solid in the scrimmaging here early on, and that first line out is questionable. Next time they have a penalty, they might want to either keep it in their forwards and start drive it up, or scrum or call for the scrum and attack from there.
Applewhite, the scrum half, native of North Carolina, set to send it in. shadowed by her counterpart, Autumn Ferris. Opportunity, little kick over the top, doesn't find the intended target, picked up by Valkyries. Now Ferris. In and out of the hands of Tilton, could not control.
Solid pickup by the Sharks there.
Even though the rain has abated for the time being, still a very slick surface here. This natural grass, beautiful natural grass field, but handling will be an issue, Grant.
Definitely will. And
Barbara Blair, I should say, that wing pushing forward. Hark down on the pitch. Play continues for the time being.
sometimes you got to wonder about a prop kicking ahead, but smart move by Nick James there. They're testing the back three again. They want to see, yesterday Little Rock didn't test the back three of the Valkyries at all, and I'd say that if they would have tried to, maybe the outcome of that match might have been a little closer. Valkyries definitely had the edge on Little Rock yesterday, but that back three is looking questionable here early on.
And Grant, something you and I spoke of pre-match, the difference in their semifinal match is it was a pretty easy victory for Harks over Oklahoma Roses. Conversely, for Valkyries, it took them to the wire to get that win.
Yeah, once they got the last 20 minutes of the match, they put it away. But, yeah, it wasn't an easy match for the Valkyries. They definitely had to work to get past Little Rock's defense.
We'll see if Harks have an advantage because of that. They were able to rest some players, some starters at the end of that match. Maybe fresher legs for today's hybrid championship. Again, the winner will be the D1 champion, the loser the Division II champion, both headed to Tucson to represent the Red River Rugby Conference. Scrum to Harks. Applewhite. In and out of the hand of Lumsden. On the far side, trying to expand the width, use that full width of the pitch here.
Nice counter ruck by the Valkyries. And penalty advantage on for the Valkyries. Jack Harrell does not roll away from the ball.
Austin with it, and there is that penalty. The advantage being played, one thing in the modern game, a lot of officials, a lot of referees will play the advantage. They like to keep playing moving. They don't want to stop and scrum it up all the time. They don't want to constantly be blowing the whistle, like to keep that flow.
And Mark Eugen is definitely a master at that. He likes to keep it going. He takes his time, talks to the players on the field, lets them know what he wants to see, gives them time to move away if necessary, and then when they don't, if no advantage is gained, he's going to blow the whistle on them.
The line out for the Valkyries on the far side, right in front of Hark's bench. Brittany McGee set to send it in.
Good take by Delgado.
Now Ferris, the scrum half.
But it's not in straight by McGee.
Got to put it right down the middle of the tunnel. Not the case there. No score early in this one. Just about 10 minutes in, our 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Women's Hybrid Championship Final.
Hark's got to be frustrated not having broken open a try yet. Usually they're used to getting some scores on the board early on.
Very veteran team, this Harks side, used to success, and maybe here it comes. Harks in the open field, cutting it back. Oh, nice stutter step, but maybe gave Valkyries a chance to get back defensively. Back up with it.
Kalisa Moses is definitely a strong runner.
Applewhite, back it goes, into the hands of Churba. Bowling forward is the loose head prop Pepper. Seen a lot of props, a lot of forwards running with the ball today. No different here in the women's championship.
Looks like Brittany McGee's call for a side entry at the ruck there.
Saw some impressive work from the locks of Euless. Those big boys of Foliaki.
Oh, man.
Along
That was memorable.
with Sanifa. Those guys
Nick James puts her head down, bowls forward.
at the 22-meter line are Harks. Back into the hands of Pepper. Pepper forward.
Stolen by Parsons, but she was judged to have come in from the side.
Quick restart by Nick James. James still with it, offloads. Over to the far side, opportunity for Harks.
And Jack Harrell
And there
has a try.
is the sign. Jack Harrell with the try indeed. Harrell, the winger, number 11, waited for the official confirmation from Mark Hugan, our referee, but able to dot it down, and it's 5-0 Harks.
I want to tell you a little secret. In all 3 matches today, we've had an Aggie score a try. Jack Harrell's fighting Texas Aggie.
Aggies having some success here in Austin, Texas. Certainly doesn't bother me, but I have a feeling a few people maybe not as happy with that. Phenomenal work here. We take another look at the try. Good work, offloaded to Harrell. Came out of the hands of Stefano. Unselfish play, and Harrell
Just pinned her ears back, got the last 5 meters out. She just backed herself, and that's what you want a wing to do.
The conversion does not have the distance, and it will stay 5-0. Houston Athletic on top of Austin Valkyries. 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Women's Hybrid Championship Final. Game live from Austin, Texas, Huns Rugby Complex.
Tell you another little something about Jack Harrell. Not only does she love to eat cake, but she is also a former United States Marine.
Semper Fi, my friend.
Semper
I've got
Fi.
another one sitting to the left of me right here. Another Devil Dog.
Got to get up under those kicks.
Unable to do so was Harks. So 5-0 lead, and this is a kind of game where momentum is going to play a huge factor. If Houston Athletic can get things going their way, they may be able to, like a snowball rolling downhill, pick up momentum. Conversely, the Valkyries.
So that kickoff, that restart, did not touch a single Hark player, and it rolled into the in goal area and then out the touching goal, which is going to bring us back to a scrum center to Hark.
Scrum on the midfield stripes. Scrum center indeed for Houston Athletic, and Applewhite to put it in. Still early in this one, but Valkyries cannot let Hark double their advantage. They do not want to find themselves down 10 or 12 points. Difficult to come back from against a side like Houston. Valkyries took a lot of punishment in their semifinal victory yesterday over Little Rock.
Valkyries are definitely counter-runking better right now than Hark is, and that's creating a couple of turnovers for them.
Ferris sends it out into the hands of Tilton. Spinning away. Navarrete drugged down. Forward goes Bray. Given right back. Poor passing, gives it to Harks. What a tackle there. Pepper forward with a cloud of dust.
Moses now.
Good movement, Stefano. Here to the near side. Stefano
But
looking for the
forward.
return pass. Gets it back from Blair. Stefano, no one will catch Gina Stefano. That much I am sure of.
But Eugen caught her pass to Barbie Blair to be forward.
Stefano, like myself, unaware. You see the look on her face saying, I just ran 50 meters for nothing.
Well, Stefano and Blair are no stranger to that kind of run. They played at Texas A&M together. They've planned that move through with a pass off from Nick James plenty of times. So they'll get back at it, have another go at it.
Yeah, Stefano, the native Houstonian, former Texas A&M Aggie, as you said, a veteran, 11 years playing rugby. for the 29-year-old. But unfortunately, that pass ruled to be forward. And so still 5-0, the lead for Harks. Now the scrum. Autumn Fair is set to put it in for Valkyries. Valkyries with it. Ferris, the fighter by day, rugby player by night and weekend. Pushing forward.
Nice drive forward by the Valkyries. Recovery. That was knocked on by Nick James as she was trying to make the tackle on Ferris.
Ferris sends it back. Tilton cutting back. Oh, what a move there. Round one. Claire Tilton still with it. Drugged down shy of the try line.
And Navarrete.
Diving over Navarrete. Tilton can't do it, but Navarrete does, and we are tied. Excuse me. We are tied at 5 apiece, and a chance for the Valkyries to take the first lead of the match with the conversion.
Navarrete did a great job with the stutter step there, bringing as the cover defense came across, and then was patient enough to pass it. Was patient enough to pass it off.
Yeah, take a look at Navarrete.
Nice.
Here's the replay. Great work from Tilton. As you mentioned, her patience, wherewithal to find Navarrete, and the San Diego native dots it down 4-5. Navarrete, a rugby player in every sense of the word, but a preschool teacher by day, and it was Teacher Appreciation last week, so we should certainly give our thanks to her and all the hardworking teachers out there. The kick is up, and good to the Valkyries. The conversion gives them the first lead of the match. Just about 20 minutes in, 7-5, Austin over Houston Athletic.
And the Valkyries got to feel good about defending their home pitch here, getting one back on Hark. And as I said earlier, the other match between them this year ended in a 26-21 win to the Valkyries. It was no easy win for the Valkyries, and there were plenty of times where Hark had a chance to win it and just didn't put it away. High hanger. Ezra Rinnerfeld takes it.
Fielded well by the Valkyries. Things going their way. Can they extend their 2-point lead? Continuing to pull forward over midfield. The kick over the top.
Barbie
Blair able to come down with it, but tackled immediately.
Good counter wrecking. Cleesa Moses is there.
On the near side.
She stops, sets down, and then picks up again.
Yeah, Moses, the outside center, had it, now dropped off.
That's Sally Berkner's first carry of the match.
So the hooker getting involved for Houston. Pepper, the loose head prop, had it, and then a quick whistle.
You can having a talk with the Valkyries captain and having what looks like Alexis Frew come over for a chat.
So Frew coming over, and a cordial handshake there between she and our referee Mark Hugan. The kick, not very deep, in to touch it win. Line out coming.
Buckner with the throw in here. It's going to need to be a little cleaner this time than last time. It's probably going to Frazier. That's their best jumper with Hark, first jumper.
Buckner, the hooker, another native Houstonian, her line out is stolen away. Wormer there to get it for the Valkyries. Ferris quickly out. Moving forward is Parsons.
Can't let go of Parsons. She's definitely in danger with the ball in hand.
That ball on the turf. Low for Ulrich Lewis.
And not overcooked, stays in.
Yeah, the bounce keeps it in bounds. Opportunity well taken by the Valkyries.
Gina Stefano saving the try with the cover defense there.
Valkyries sensing a chance to extend their lead here, and that, just as I say that, the kick sends it the other way.
Sherber
bouncing around and
bouncing space.
wisely letting it go into touch.
That's going to be a line out to Austin in about the same place as the last line out. Jenkins took a little bit of a chance there. That ball, the defender could have come up and kicked that ball downfield, and Jenkins would have been standing still.
The line out finds itself into the hands of a Hart player. Heading forward is Lumsden. Lumsden didn't know much about it, but that ball right at her. Now Moses offloaded. Good phases here, moving quickly. Harks looking to retake the lead. Over to Harrell. Electing to keep it on the far side is Houston Athletic.
Again, that counter ruck by Austin Valkyries. However, the Valkyries are deemed to have been offside by Mark Eugen. A bit of relief for Hart there.
Maybe I would categorize this as a war of attrition early on. Neither team able to get much. Stefano had a long run, but whistled back. The try not counting as that is sent into touch by Hart.
Redeemed herself with a try-saving tackle down here.
You know, we mentioned Stefano's offensive prowess. Equally as impressive defensively.
Yeah, she's faster anywhere on the field. And
do not want to get in a foot race with Gina Stefano. Line out to Hart, taken well.
Deemed to be straight by Eugen. Churb's going to take it up strong.
Denise Cherba heading forward is the inside center. Ball on the turf. Taken back by the Valkyries.
Dangerous tackle called by Mark Eugen.
Applewhite wanted to restart quickly, but will not have the opportunity, so she will wisely take her time and get her troops reordered.
And I think the Harks have finally seen that the lineout's not working right now. You know, even though they had one good one, and they're just going to try and drive forward with their forwards here.
As we mentioned, that powerful pack for Harks.
The Valkyries, you know, their counter ruck was good there, except that they lost their feet, and Eugen was directly in front of them.
Here comes Hart the other way in the hands of Nick James. James rumbling toward the try line.
James, no stranger. She knows where that try line's at.
Well defended by Valkyries. At the line, but not over. James again.
Sarah Parsons has found ball. James did, excuse me, it's Chelsea Pepper did not release the ball in the tackle. Parsons fought for it.
Parsons is very impressive, the number 8, the Nevada native.
She definitely was a factor that turned the tide for Austin yesterday against Little Rock. Little Rock had no answer for anything Sarah Parsons showed them. And you can't let her get a step. If you let her get a couple of steps on you, she's in power mode, and she's really hard to bring down.
Parsons with my favorite listed profession, vagabond. Gotta love it. Can't argue with that. We should all be so lucky.
We should all be so lucky.
Line out for the Valkyries. Taken by Harks. Well done. Just 2 points separating the sides. Valkyries leading 7-5. The conversion all that separates these two. 2016 Red River Conference Championship hybrid match.
Again, the counter ruck of Austin is strong, and that's something that they need to key on, counter rucking it every time Houston takes it into contact.
Parsons rumbling down. Wormer saw the 3, saw the 8, it was actually a 3. There's Parsons with the big tackle, and Parsons lifting Stratton off her feet.
Oh, Mark Hugan tripping over a player out there. That's not going to be good for him at Kangaroo Court.
Under 15 minutes remaining in the first half. Very evenly played, much as we anticipated. Sun has come out. A beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. So pleased you could join us. Autumn Ferris, the scrum half for Valkyries, having a few words with her midfield.
It looks like Ava Wormer's down for the moment. That's the player that's taking a knee.
The training staff coming out to take a look. Indeed, it is Wormer. So Wormer back on her feet is the Vermont native, former Ithaca College player. Remind all of you to stick with us post-match as we will have the Championship Cup presentation. Kirk Tate, president of Texas Rugby Union, doing the honors. It's always so pleased you could join us here on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube page, powered by T5RDG. The best in the rugby business. You can find more information T5RDG.com. Final match of the weekend, and it has flown by. What a weekend it has been. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And now set to scrum it up. Wormer appears that she will be able to continue, and that's good news for Valkyries. My apologies, it will actually be Wendy Young presenting the women's trophy, as I misspoke. Mr. Tate, the Texas Rugby Union president, he had presented both of the men's Division III and Division II trophies. Again, our congratulations to Euless and Little Rock, the men's D3 and D2 champions earlier today. Applewhite to send it in for Hart. Waiting for it to get past the boot of the number 8, and there it is. Hart moving quickly.
Interesting, Hark had moved Churba into fly half there and put Stefano out into inside center. So interesting
a bit of a change in philosophy. What do you think about that, Grant?
Well, Churba's got a good decision-making skills, and I think that Stefano's got a faster step on the outside, so that's probably a good idea.
Wormer able to get on top of it. Valkyries fans making noise. They want them to add to this 2-point lead. Bowling forward, Lockwood Meyer.
And tackler did not release the tackle. Penalty goes to the Valkyries there.
The kick sends it into touch. No, it's going to stay in somehow, taking a fortuitous bounce in the field of play.
And Barbie Blair's knocked it on in contact, lost the ball over to a scrum to the Valkyries.
Valkyries with the scrum deep in hard territory.
And this is a place where Parsons was dangerous at yesterday with an 8-man pick and just taking it to the weak side and straight in. You know, Parsons definitely outmatches Applewhite and Blair in size and won't mind taking them on if she's headed that direction.
Yeah, that tight 5, so good in these scrum situations. Keep an eye as well on Acosta. Acosta, the tallest player out there, listed at 5'10", but nimble feet. In it goes. Ferris finds herself back with it. Cutting inside, Tilton drugged down.
Houston getting a little bit more aggressive at the counter rucking now, and that's paid off for them.
Houston trying to get it out of their own 22 meters. Pinned back by the Valkyries. They elect to put a boot to it over the top. Jenkins is there. Well received by Sierra Jenkins, and she's going to the far side. Moving quickly, here come the Valkyries. Oh, what a tackle from behind, ball dislodged.
Patricia Stratton there with the cover defense. The Valkyries had numbers, they just didn't use their support to play that, and Stratton smartly just keyed on the ball carrier, took him down, and got the knock on in their favor. It's going to be a scrum to the Sharks.
And talk about that tackle from behind. Here's another look.
Oh, that was Calista Moses.
Yeah, great closing speed there from Calista Moses. She was all over. Made sure that she was not going to get beat. Was the native of Winnipeg, Manitoba, former University of Texas Longhorn. Mark Hugan will talk things over before the scrum. Got to keep those backs straight. Now we'll do it all again. Sharks deep in their own territory, just over 7 minutes remaining in the first half. They trail Valkyries 7-5. A defensive struggle here in the first half.
And Hugan's calling the scrum for being pushed up. And I'm not sure I quite agree with the direction of the call, but it did need to be called.
Hark with it. And kicked out. Jenkins unable to come down with it. All the way back it goes to Kennedy. Now Houston with an opportunity. Close to the midline. They scored first. The only points of the game coming via the try. They were unable to get the two with the conversion was Hart. Now Moses unable to hold on to the pass.
Penalty advantage was on though. I don't think those back players heard the whistle.
Well, I'm pretty sure they didn't, as you saw Stratton going after that.
Stratton, Applewhite, and Blair all over there.
Stratton, Applewhite, and Blair not hearing the whistle. They were firmly focused on the ball, playing about 20 seconds after the whistle was blown. And Mark Hugan just standing there near midfield with his arm up, waiting for the sides to come back. Grant, we've seen a lot of offensive fireworks today. This match very different.
Yeah, this match is very different. Neither team has really got their feet under them yet. I mean, they've had a couple of nice runs for tries, but they're not really showing what they've got. And the defensive slugfest is definitely showing. Hark really needs to get on the front foot and get more support at those breakdowns at the tackle situation faster, so that Valkyries don't counter-ruck. Valkyries need to keep doing that because that's what's getting them so much possession.
Yeah, strangely enough, we'd surmised just by their semifinals that it may have been Hark with more energy in the tank after yesterday's handed victory over Oklahoma. But so far it's been Valkyries. They're the ones pressing the pace on the front foot. Tilton now with it. Tilton through the first line of defense, loses possession.
And there's knock-on advantage for Hark at the moment.
Moses in there, but could not control it. Neither could Stefano.
And Mark Hugin's favorite call there, back chat.
Here comes Houston Athletics. Stefano through one tackle, still with Stefano, offloads it. On the far side, Harrell. Moses.
Lundstrom.
Back to Pepper. Front row getting involved now for Hark. At the 22-meter line is Houston. Could they retake the lead before the halftime break?
There's that aggressive counter ruck of Austin again.
Aggressive counter ruck has paid dividends this entire first half for the Valkyries. They get it back there. Ferris, the scrum half around the corner. Ferris around Harrell. Ferris, green grass in front of her and brought down by the last possible tackler.
Tricia Stratton did well on the recovery defense there. Ferris was not looking for the offload.
Ferris had eyes for that try line and nothing else.
Brittany McGee brought down, but she rolls over, releases the ball, and gets up again because she's not held.
A whistle on the far side.
Mark Hugin caused Hark for coming around on the ruck. And that ball has gone touch and go penalty, so they're given a choice of 22-meter drop or a scrum and kick.
We'll see what Hark elects to do here. They haven't had a lot of success.
I'd say it looks like they chose the 22-meter drop.
They indeed have. A defensive stalemate, only 2 points separating the sides here. Just a few minutes remaining until that halftime whistle. Ferris, the scrum half for Austin, down on the far side. It's the training staff coming out to take a look. Mark Hugin also going over just to check in. Team's taking the opportunity to get some well-deserved refreshment. Just about 90 seconds until the half on that running clock. Again, the official time kept by our referee. Had some injuries here, and certainly think that'll add to the injury time.
Ferris getting that wrist taped up. Looks like it might have got stepped on or jammed.
Rugby players, if they can walk, they're going to be out there. That much is for sure.
Refereed a match once, and guy's ear got taken off. I didn't know this. I sent him off for blood, and they subbed somebody in for him, and then he came back on the match with his head all taped up. And then after the match, he went off trying to find the rest of his ear. Half his ear was taken off and it was on the pitch somewhere.
Only in rugby. That is the perfect story right there.
And he didn't even want the rest of the flesh to do anything with. He just wanted to keep his momentum. Memento.
There was a gentleman for the Euless side who had his lips split open almost to the core, and he, no issues whatsoever, taped it up the best he could, and he was out there, put it through a few stitches in it, and good to go. Just part of the game. Warriors off the field, on the field I should say, Gentle Giants off it. Here comes Tilton, offloads it, pass on the turf. Jenkins unable to get a hand to it.
Penalty advantage was on for a dangerous tackle by Hark, and Valkyries get to pull it back over and regroup.
So we've reached the 40-minute mark, but as you've seen, have had plenty of stoppages, injuries, and the like. So we'll have a few more minutes added here to the first half before we break.
This kind of stagnant, slow rugby is not something that Hark likes to play, and slowing them down is probably a good idea by Austin. help them to keep Hark on the back foot.
Now, Hark so successful yesterday in that run and gun style, if you will, up and down the pitch was Houston Athletic in that big victory over Oklahoma Roses in their semifinal. Very different today, and credit Valkyries forcing Hark to play their style. The wind is back up, but the rain is subsided. I think that is a trade-off we'll all be happy to take. Sun is out. Beautiful day in Austin, Texas. And again, happy Mother's Day to all of you joining us. Mothers in Little Rock and Euless well rewarded for their championship as Jenkins
made it to the try line, but not before there was a knock-on that she recovered.
Well, Jenkins, much like her counterpart Stefano, didn't hear the whistle, thought she had 5 points, but referee Mark Huggins saying, you're going to have to bring it back here.
That was actually Acosta with the breakaway run.
Back we go, scrum to Hark. The last 10 minutes being played almost exclusively into the Houston Athletic end. Out it comes, kick over the top, into space. Well fielded. Valkyries cutting forward in the hands of Ramirez.
Knocked on there in the contact by Austin.
Spun around, drugged down, Houston with it. Still inside their own 22-meter.
Knock on, there's no advantage on the knock on by Little Rock again, or excuse me, Austin. Again, Austin with the strong counter ruck there. And if they can continue that strong counter rucking, they'll maintain possession.
That's certainly been one of the keys for Valkyries. They've slowed things down. The counter ruck has been very impressive, and Hark just hasn't been able to find their rhythm.
No, Hark has not been able to find their rhythm, definitely not. And they're searching for it, but it's just not fell into place yet.
Like when you lose your keys, you know they're there, but you just can't place it. And it goes from Applewhite.
And then they've lost the scrum there by kicking it through.
The scrum taken away in and out of the hands of Ramirez, but Ferris is there to win it back, and she's spun to ground. Ball finds itself into touch.
Marcella Jones with a strong tackle there.
Line out. Stolen away by Valkyries.
And the Valkyries are just getting in front of Meredith Frazier every time the ball's thrown in, and Hark needs to make some adjustments on those lineouts to get Frazier up front.
And Hark has had very little successful in those lineouts. Tilton push back, heavy tackle there. On the far side, Valkyries with it. Seconds away from the halftime whistle. Parsons offloads it to Wormer. Out it comes, Ulrich over the top. Good kick into space. Ramirez giving chase. Can she get on the end of it? Bounces over her head. Blair finds herself with it. Back it goes. Another good tackle.
Again, the prop, Nick James, taking the kick ahead. Sarah Jenkins, speedster, just can't find a place to run to.
Jenkins pulled down, no space for her. Good tackle that time by Lumsden. Both sides know that there are literally seconds and very few remaining in the first half, and just 2 points separating.
Denise Cherba just a bit outside on that one, offside.
Kick into touch off the boot of Ulrich Lewis.
And that is halftime.
And there is the halftime whistle. 40 minutes in the books. Only 2 points separating the Austin Valkyries and Harks of Houston Athletic Rugby Club. 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Hybrid Women's Championship. The winner will be the Division I champion, the loser, the Division II champion. Both headed off to Tucson. A defensive stalemate in the first half.
Yes, very much a defensive stalemate. Austin is definitely counter-rucking much better than Hark is, and Hark is losing a lot of possession at those rucks because they're not answering that call. If I was Nick James and at halftime, I'd definitely be talking about that, and Hark's definitely got to be talking about keeping that up and being able to respond faster to that counter ruck.
Well, we will take a break right here in the 2016 Red River Rugby Championships on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube page, powered by T5 RDG. Second half coming up next, Women's Hybrid Championship. Valkyries 7, Hark 5 at the half. Start of the second half, 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Championship, live from the Huns Rugby Complex in Austin, Texas. Kit McConico, Grant Cole with you. 40 minutes in the books, 40 minutes remaining to determine who will be the Division I and Division II women's champion. Just 2 points separating the Valkyries and Hark at the break. Austin 7, Houston Athletic 5. And it has been a defensive battle, to say the least.
It has indeed, Kit. Definitely something we didn't expect out of either of these teams. We expect them to be a little bit more offensively aggressive, and it's the defense that's kept both of them going.
Teams switching sides for the second half. Valkyries going from right to left, Hark from left to right as Blair finds herself with it, tries to get a kick back into the hands of the scrum half, and quickly taken down was Ferris. So far, this match being played in the style the Valkyries want. They've been able to dictate. You mentioned the counter-rucking. It's been slow. It's been methodical. Houston, well, Hark, they want to play fast, but they haven't had the chance.
Well, they haven't had the ball where they wanted it, and that's out in the wings where they're driving forward. Their back line and their wings have had to focus on cover defense and keeping the Valkyries out of the try zone on the breakaways.
Ferris stays on her feet, offloads in the hands of Acosta. Down the line. Now with Tilton over the midline. Talk about speedsters like Gina Stefano. She has not really been able to get involved, nor has the inside center, Denise Churba. It's been a war of attrition in this one. We'll see if fatigue starts to set in and changes things up as we progress towards the 80-minute mark.
And it looks to me like Marcella Jones has entered the ruck from the side there to make that tackle. Mark Eugen has dinged it.
Ulrich Lewis will kick into touch for the Valkyries. Again, welcome all of you joining us on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube channel powered by T5RDG. Kit McConico, Grant Cole with you. Final match of the weekend, and what a weekend it's been.
It has been a great weekend in Euless this morning, surprising everybody with strong play over the Blacks. And, you know, like they said in their post-game interview, they had a meeting last night of the team, talking to each other about how much they care about this win, and they came away with it. And then Little Rock and Hurt, definitely he showed that Little Rock wanted that one more. And it was, you know, the score line didn't really show how much of a battle that was. It just showed that Little Rock definitely was a better team, and Hurt didn't give anything up at all. They just couldn't overcome some of the Little Rock runs to the outside.
Trainers coming out to take a look at one of the down Hark players.
And that looks like Chelsea Pepper.
Pepper, the loose head prop, down on the pitch. The front row has been instrumental for Houston.
Just 2 weeks ago, Pepper took a nice shot to the eye and almost looked like she had broken her eye socket.
Yeah, I saw Pepper pre-game, had a nice shiner well-earned underneath that eye. So the line out coming. Now the ball ensuing.
It looks like that ball's wrapped up in there.
Ball somewhere in the midst of that mass of humanity in the hands of one of the Valkyries.
And Nick James had her arms around the Valkyrie that had the ball. That's a grip you're not getting out of.
Costa pushing forward, offloads, but into the hands of a Houston player. The Hark right there to snatch it back.
Looked like Gina Stefano intercepting that one.
Stefano, the right place at the right time. Out it comes, ball on the turf. Tilton. Now on to Navarrete.
Navarrete's looked like she knocked that on, but Eugen said it went straight down. And Barbie Blair knocked that on Patricia Stratton knocked that on as she was tackled. Lost it forward a little bit, and Valkyrie's got a nice position to be scrimmaging from here.
Yeah, the Valkyries inside the 22-meter, deep in Hark territory. Can they add to their 2-point lead early in the second half? Sent in by Ferris.
Parsons to take.
Parsons still with it. Parsons spinning around on her feet. Parsons eventually drugged down.
And Hark was smart to stop that up as quickly as they could. Looks like Hark was not rolling away at the tackle there.
Acosta offloads in the hands of Bray. Bray at the try line, dots it down. Another 5 for the Valkyries. And they've extended their lead to 7. The chance to make it a 9-point advantage if they can convert. So Thea Ulrich-Lewis to take, but first we take a look at that try, and you saw the end of it right there, dotted down by Bray. Francine Bray, another native Austinite, another teacher. The kick is up, but just shy, not enough on it, and it will stay a 7-point advantage for Austin.
And 12-5. Sharks got to come back faster on this.
So for Sharks, the pressure starting to build. Still lots of time remaining, only 7 points separating the two, but Valkyries building momentum and confidence.
Good take. Looked like Alexis Frew there.
Yeah, Frew well taken now in the hands of Parsons. Going forward.
And Valkyries look like they've got a bit of momentum here, and they need to keep it up.
Kick over the top by Tilton, right into the hands of Blair. Blair sees green grass to the far side and heads that way. Offload.
To Stratton.
Stratton now.
Knocks it on.
Ball on the turf. Picked up by Jenkins for Austin. Jenkins down that far sideline. Around Harrell, and Stratton there to make the tackle.
Looks like side entry by the Sharks at that tackle situation.
A game this tight, 1 or 2 plays could well decide who's the victor.
Yes. That's really all either team needs to put it away right now.
Stays in play, fielded by Harrell.
Oh!
What a hit on the far side. Ball ends up in the hands
Kelly Check.
of Bray, but what a hit that was.
Kelly Check got up off the ground trying to do a jump step and was stopped clean in the air and brought down hard on the ground.
Swung to the ground. The temperature really heating up on the pitch, even though it's just a pleasant 75. Both these teams know what is at stake. They'll both be headed to Tucson, but who will be the Division I champion? Who will be Division II? Blair unable to come down with it. Ramirez finds herself with it, cuts back. Ramirez heading that way. Brenda Ramirez headed toward the center, dots it down. Another 5 for the Valkyries.
And there's that momentum that the Valkyries needed to keep going. Brenda Ramirez steady on the chase on Barbara Blair. Quick on the pickup, and then step in the cover defenders.
Ramirez, the El Paso native, in the right place at the right time. That ball fortuitously bouncing into her path, and she did not look the gift horse in the mouth. You see Blair unable to come down with it. Ramirez right there, picks it up, cuts back by Harrell, and dots it down right in the center to make the conversion that much easier for Ulrich Lewis. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
19-5 the score. Austin Valkyries up over the Houston Sharks.
Only 14 points, but
it's still a close game, but the Sharks definitely haven't got any momentum under their feet now, and they need it.
yeah, the Austin fans on their feet supporting the local side, and right now you can see the difference in the body language. The Valkyries, they are hop, skip, and a jump in their step, moving quickly. For Houston, quite simply, they're a bit flummoxed right now.
They are. They do seem that way. And there's a Little Rock fan out here rooting for Hark with a bullhorn.
Little Rock fan with a bullhorn, making sure that everyone can hear her and her opinions.
Looks like Mariah Vanderveer.
The Valkyries with momentum, confidence, everything going right for the home side.
Meg Griffin was offside, was judged to be offsides there.
Taken quickly by Acosta. Now Ferris spins away from one tackler, cannot get away from the second.
Knocked on by Wormer at the tackle situation. Ferris picked up the ball, but Hugan was right there to see the knock on.
Our referee Mark Hugan making sure everything is on the up and up, as he has for this entire match. Make sure you stick with us post game, as Wendy Young, U.S. Rugby Congresswoman, will be presenting the Division I and Division II trophies to these two sides. Applewhite finds itself in the hands of Lumsden. Offloads to Stefano. Stefano, speed, able to stay in bounds, but eventually drugged down at the 22.
Stefano giving Houston the necessary momentum.
You've got to think if Hark's going to get back into this, Gina Stefano is going to play a key role.
Francine Bray lost her feet there at the tackle situation. Penalty to the Sharks.
Going forward, ball lost. Had it did Pepper, but a stiff tackle will stay with Houston. Now Stefano. Drugged down, ball on the turf as well. Both teams fighting for possession. Who will come up with it?
Counter ruck by the Valkyries, look strong. And they've got possession of it now.
The Valkyries indeed find themselves with the ball. Out it goes, spinning away is Bray. Opportunity here for the Valkyries. A bit of space. What a tackle there by Sharks.
Yeah, Stratton putting her body on the line to stop Wormer.
Stratton giving up size, but
that
not a problem.
That ball was forward, and
an easy call there.
I think everybody knew that.
You see Claire Tilton, the inside center, not protesting at all. Knew that that pass was indeed forward to her. We've seen that a few times today. Opportunities called back because of the forward pass. We will scrum it up. Right on the midline. Scrum to Sharks.
Valkyries have had all the momentum in this match so far, in this half so far, and the Sharks are looking to get it back.
Applewhite quickly to Stefano. Stefano on to Moses. Moses around one tackle, stays on her feet, offloads to Stefano. Now Harrell. Harrell down the far sideline. Harrell offloads. That ball stays in play. Who will get it? Valkyries find themselves with it. Coming the other way is Parsons. Big stiff arm, still on her feet.
Nick James there to bring Parsons down, not let her get too many steps on him.
Now McGee, the hooker. Back with Ferris. Ulrich Lewis offloads. Tilton, time and room. Tilton looking for support. Tilton around Blair. Tilton going to the far side. Harold, the only one between her and the try line. Tilton over, dots it down. Try Valkyries. And it is now a 24-5 game. A chance to make it 26-5 with the conversion. What a run there from Claire Tilton.
And the Valkyries there took advantage of a hole in the middle, a little defensive miscue by the Sharks, stepped into it, caught one tackler down. See right here, Tilton gets the ball. Stefano loses her footing.
Tilton around one, around a second. Kelly Check was not going to catch her. Able to get by Blair. It was between her and Harrell. A race to the corner line. Harrell unable to stop her and dotted down by Hilton for 5. Now the difficult conversion coming from Ulrich Lewis. The kick is up, but it's not on line. Had the distance, but did not find itself over the crossbar between the uprights. And still the lead, 19 for Austin. Credit the Valkyries coming out here forcing Houston Athletic to play the game they wanted. Houston Athletic, you mentioned, like to get the ball wide. They have the speedsters, but they haven't had possession, haven't had the chance to do so.
And, you know, the Valkyries like to get the ball wide and use their speedsters as well. And this was the first chance they've really got to do that without being on counterattack. And so it's definitely something that worked to their advantage. That is the kind of play that they used to beat Hark earlier in the season.
Things opening up here in the second half is sent back to the Valkyries. Acosta able to get on top of it. Everything going Austin's way right now. Ulrich Lewis cuts back here to the near side, looking for support, finds Acosta. Still on her feet is Acosta, offloads to Parsons. What a tackle there from Nick James.
Yeah. Nick James coming across with authority.
Nick James says, I've got a little frustration. I'm going to exercise it on you. Ulrich Lewis brought down. No, able to stay on her feet and offload it. Good work. Now Parsons. Parsons right down the middle. Tries to get by Pepper and James, but cannot do so. Ulrich Lewis miss kicks, but able to fall on top of it to retain possession. Now Harks with it and a chance.
Harks' momentum here needs to keep going if they want a chance to stay in this game.
Right at the 22-meter line is Houston. Trailing by 19, they need points and they cannot settle for kicks. Have to find the try. Now Stefano cuts back in, does Stefano.
Saw the half gap, but didn't accelerate through it. And she had penalty advantage on from the not rolling away at the tackle in the previous rep.
Fatigue has certainly been a factor. Stefano's slow to get back to her feet. Not nearly as quick as we saw her in yesterday's semifinal. And credit Valkyries, they've done a very good job not letting her build ahead of steam.
Yeah, you know, they closed the gaps a little closer there than the Roses did, and a little quicker, not allowing her to step through them and accelerate through them, which is something she's very good at and well known for.
Now a change coming.
You see Griffin going off, Megan Griffin coming off, and it looks like Chelsea Brown.
Yeah, CB coming on.
Yeah, the Houston Energy linebacker.
Talked about going to watch her play football, and she can lay a hit. That much is for sure. A hit.
And Chelsea Brown's something else when it comes to, she's a multi-sport athlete, she's not afraid to get physical.
Chelsea Brown, better known as CB, another native Houstonian coming on, just her second year playing rugby, but certainly no stranger to contact sports, as we mentioned, Houston Energy linebacker.
And looks like Hark's going to choose to run a penalty play here after Austin finishes with their substitutions.
Yeah, the Valkyries making two of their own, Will Austin. They're bringing some fresh legs on for the remainder of this match. Just about 10 minutes remaining. Going forward,
Marcella Jones.
Jones able to dot it down.
Marcella Jones almost untouched into the try zone, and she takes it beneath the post. Excellent, right off the penalty play there.
Yeah, the former Youngstown State product, native of Ohio, Jones the lock. No one coming up to take her, and she took advantage, headed forward, did number 4.
And she had plenty of support behind her had she go down. Here she goes, she steps into the middle, breaks a tackle there.
Nothing but green grass. Jones not touched until she got to that try line, and this is exactly what Harks needed.
Sierra Jenkins trying to stop Jones. That's just not going to happen.
Jenkins doing the best she could. As we mentioned, I misspoke earlier, said about 10 minutes. It's actually 18 remaining in this match. And so still plenty of time, just trailing by 14, and a chance to cut the deficit to 12 for Sharks. Blair stepping up, her kick up and good, and indeed the deficit has been cut 24-20. Austin Valkyries on top of Houston Sharks.
And the Sharks aren't out of this. It's definitely, they see that they can gain momentum, so they're not hanging their heads, and that's a good thing.
Well, this is going to be a very entertaining final 18 minutes of this. And Grant, the Valkyries, they've just got to get back to what they were doing, maintaining possession, controlling, slowing things down. But a big chance here for Houston.
Lumsden knocks on there, trying to make the take.
The Valkyries catch a break.
It's those mental errors like that. When the ball is coming in low, you want to use your legs to stop the ball from going anywhere, and then once you've got the ball stopped, then you can pick it up and go.
All about execution, doing the simple things right. Easier said than done, obviously, but
very much so.
Scrum to the Valkyries just outside the Sharks' 22-meter. Handling has been an issue, even though the rain has subsided. Still a bit slick out there, and we've seen some handling errors. You can attribute those to the moisture. As Parsons pulls forward, a stiff arm on the far side. Continuing on her feet is Parsons, eventually offloads it. Now Ferris, quickly. One of the new additions for the Valkyries. At the 5-meter line, smelling a try is Austin. Can they add to their lead? They've seen it diminish. They want to put it back to 17 or 19, and they're able to do just that.
And that looks like is that Inostroza, or is that?
I believe that was Ulrich Lewis, Thea Ulrich Lewis, and she will just keep the ball with herself as the kick taker. This should be a relatively easy conversion, but into the wind it will be. Another look here. You see the ball coming out quickly in the right place at the right time was number 18 for Valkyries.
Jordan Inostroza, she's just waiting for her turn there.
And you see Ferris, good heads-up play, sees Ulrich Lewis, cuts around the first tackler. Mr. Hugan says, I'm going to let you go ahead and do what you're going to do. And Ulrich Lewis converts with the kick.
31-12 now to the Valkyries.
So the defensive struggle in the first half, points aplenty here in the second.
Yes. And with about 16 minutes left.
Still plenty of time for Houston, but they cannot afford to trade tries at this point.
No, they can't let Austin into that end again.
Houston looking the more fatigued side are the Sharks. You can see the new additions, those bright white jerseys compared to the ladies that have been out there from the opening kick.
Definitely.
Parsons fields the kick. Feigns the pass. Still with Parsons as she's brought down. In and out of the hands of the hooker, McGee.
Lumsden's up quickly to take her down.
Ferris sends it all the way back. Kick over the top. Blair there, cannot come down with it, and it will find itself into touch. Ramirez lurking as she was previously. If Blair had misplayed that, Ramirez would have gladly taken it for another try. And
there was a lot of room there, and the only thing that stopped Ramirez was Stratton.
So Brown, Chelsea Brown, better known as CB, set to send the line out in for Sharks right at the midline. Great vantage point here. And it goes knocked away by the Valkyries. Well won by Acosta. We mentioned Acosta, the tallest player out on the pitch, listed at 5'10". Uses her height to her advantage.
And another line out to the Sharks here, and it's got to be something that the Valkyries want to see. They don't mind seeing this line out.
You saw the end of that previous line out there, and Acosta able to elevate. Big collision between Moses and Tilton, and now the line out on the far side for Houston. Another change being made by Sharks as Harrell comes off.
And that's Morgan Shin coming on. They're moving Kelly Check out to Harrell's winger position, putting Shin in the midfield.
So changes coming fast and furious. Just under 15 remaining. Back it goes.
Houston recovers.
Stefano, finds herself with it, immediately brought down. Parsons in on the tackle. And credit Sarah Parsons. You mentioned her in the pregame. She's been all over the pitch.
She has. She's created a lot of turnovers so that Austin can pick up and go forward. She has not been as strong on offense today as she normally is, and a lot of that goes to Nick James making sure she's wherever Parsons is to make the stop.
Yeah, Parsons, one of those University of Nevada Wolfpack products. A few of those on the Valkyries roster. Native Nevadan. Ferris sends it in. Over to Ulrich Lewis, kick down the far side, giving chase, but picked up.
Parsons had the ball going forward, and not sure.
And we have to wait for the signal from our referee, Mark Hugan. A massive bodies between us and the ball, and able to get a good vantage point.
He's showing a knock on by Austin there.
The ball found itself into touch, but I believe they're going to say knock on. As always, Grant is correct. That's why I defer to you and your knowledge. Now the scrum to Austin. Austin at the 5-meter line and looking for more are the Valkyries.
It looks like they're going to try to walk that scrum in.
They just continue to press forward. Does Austin. Diving over, dotting it down. Another try for the Valkyries, and you see the reaction there. Great work, and that is going to be the scrum half.
Autumn Ferris.
Autumn Ferris. Ferris, she's been the general, if you will, today, and finally gets in on the action with her first try.
Smart play there by Austin, taking the time to walk the scrum in, get it as close as possible, let the ball pop out. Ferris just has to fall on it in goal.
We take another look at it here.
You see Ferris waiting back there, biding her time, talking to Parsons. You see it pop out there. She picks up, dots down, try awarded.
Very heads-up play from Ferris, finds herself with it. Ulrich Lewis's kick will be short.
But that puts the Valkyries far ahead with about 10 minutes left in this game, and that's a long 10 minutes for Hark to come back from that far down.
Yeah, 24-point advantage now for the Valkyries as they lead HARC 36-12. 2016 Red River Rugby Championship, Division I and Division II, our hybrid championship for the women. Final match of the weekend here on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube channel, powered by T5 RDG. Kit McConico, Grant Cole with you, and right now, time a factor for the
Factor for the Sharks. They're bringing on some more fresh legs. I think that's Carrie Dimbick coming on.
Easy to pick out, and indeed it is number 21, Carrie Dimbick. Those bright white jerseys, they will not stay that way for long. Got to be very impressed with the Valkyries. Their game plan, one thing to have a game plan, quite another to execute it as well as they have.
Yes.
Kick over the top. Blair gives chase. Blair's going to watch it into touch.
And she's going to be glad that Brenda Ramirez wasn't there any quicker than she was.
Ramirez always lurking, shows the speed, does the El Paso native, and already has a try from one such situation. She'd be happy for another. Now the line out for HARC and CB. Chelsea Brown to take it.
Looks
Well,
like
change coming for Houston Athletic as they're going to bring off Barbara Blair, their wing. And one for Austin as well, as it will be Alexis Frew coming off, and two changes. Coming on for the Valkyries, that'll be Christy Ritchie, number 22.
multiple knock-ons in that line-out situation, but the first knock-on was by Houston, and that'll result in a scrum to the Valkyries.
So scrum to Austin. At just inside the 22-meter line. Chance to add to their 24-point lead. And you've got to think if they're able to put more points on the board, that would indeed seal the deal. In it goes. Parsons back to Ferris. Ferris back behind, picked up by Ulrich Lewis. Spins away from one tackler, still on her feet, and eventually brought down at the 22. Back to HARCs it goes. Houston looking for something, but pinned in their own end. Kick over the top. Jenkins there, and will field it on the bounce. Around one tackler. Jenkins down the sideline. A second. Jenkins cuts back at the 22-meter and brought down. Parsons rumbling forward with a head of steam.
And the Valkyries definitely have everything going their way now. Their fresh legs are strong, and they're driving forward.
Into the hands of Ulrich Lewis. Now finds Tilton. Tilton at the try line, dots it down. Another 5 for Austin. Everything going the Valkyries' way.
And you got to think that that D1 trophy is definitely going to be theirs at this point.
You've got to think that may well do it. Austin continuing to extend their lead, now 41-12, a chance to add to it as we take a look at the replay.
Ball comes out. Easy pass out to Tilton, and Tilton just pins her ears back and goes the last 5 meters to ground the ball for a try.
So Thea Ulrich Lewis with a difficult conversion, the crosswind in her face. Measures, addresses. Online, but just a bit short, and it will stay 41-12. Valkyries on top of Houston Sharks. So Houston Athletic never really found their footing in this match.
No, they never really have, and you saw yesterday how they did have a lot of lot of pace yesterday, and maybe that's what took it out of him. It was a lot of yards running, a lot of meters put down on the field, and perhaps that was what took it out of him.
The winner will be your 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Division I champion. The loser, the Division II champion. Both teams will head to Tucson. Just about 4 minutes remaining in this one, and Valkyries with one eye on the pitch, one eye on the clock, and they are waiting to celebrate this championship.
Smart move by Navarrete there.
Yeah, sends it back the other way, does Navarrete. Ball bouncing around, fielded by the Valkyries. Valkyries, their fans on their feet, continuing to support. They are loud, and you can certainly understand why. It has been a phenomenal game if you're a Valkyries fan. And here they come yet again. Ball in the hands of Navarrete. Gives it away.
Nick James right there for the interception.
James at the 22-meter. Back it goes, spinning away was Lumsden.
Houston trying to get some of that momentum back now.
Big collision. Houston unable to find any space.
Side entry there.
And a shark down on the pitch at the 22-meter line. Now finding her way back up is Elizabeth Brack, the blind side forward.
Callista Moses taking the kicks now.
So Moses takes the kick and sends it right towards us here at the near side. We'll bounce into touch. Kick coming off the side of her foot, not where she had intended. A very little gained there, but it will be a line out for Sharks. 2 minutes remaining in the 80. Obviously, the official time kept on the field. We'll have some injury time as well. And it goes, well won by Houston. Unable to come up with it. Ball bouncing around, eventually into the hands of Ferris. Ferris on to Parsons. Parsons cuts through. Parsons offload. Parsons still at the line, unable to dot it down.
Parsons definitely not in familiar territory, not having gotten into the try zone today, so she's definitely going to give it a go one more time.
Parsons not looking to offload that ball by any stretch of the imagination, saying this is not something I get an opportunity to do often. Parsons was going to take full advantage, was the number 8 for the Valkyries.
Just 2 minutes left here, and Houston's put in.
Scrum to Houston at the 5-meter line. Back it goes, boot to it, tries to send it out of danger, but that will roll into touch. Just past the 22-meter line, and line out coming. The line out for the Valkyries. One of the new additions, Kayla Harris, set to take it. Harris taking over for the hooker, Brittany McGee. A bit of confusion before the line out.
Austin didn't have a set number of players in the line out, had a little bit of a miscue as to how many they should have in there.
So we have hit the 80-minute mark for the match, and now into injury time we go. The baseball pass sent in and well received. Ferris quickly out to Ulrich Lewis. Now Parsons. Parsons wants a try, does Sarah Parsons, and may well get one here. Parsons drugged down just meters from the line.
Stratton did well to take her down, too.
Still with the Valkyries. Out it goes, good work over the line, dotted down, and yes, it was. There is the signal, Kayla Harris. Harris, one of the new additions, rewarded with the try. Austin extends their lead due to the Valkyries now into injury time, and that is the cherry on top for the Valkyries.
We're going to see the replay here. Parsons get tackled nicely by Stratton and setting the ball up. It's a quicker ruck than normal for Austin. And Stratton slows it down. Ball comes out. And Navarrete gives to Kayla Harris. Kayla Harris doesn't have to do much but take 3 steps to take it in for a try and bring it to 46.
The conversion not made by Ulrich Lewis, but it will matter not, as it is now 46-12 in favor of Austin. In injury time, 80 minutes having elapsed, and just waiting for Mark Hugan to blow his whistle before the Valkyries can celebrate as the 2016 Red River Rugby Conference champion for Division I.
And it's much more of a vindication over the loss they took to Hark last year in this same match.
Make sure you stick with us post-match, as U.S. Rugby Congresswoman Wendy Young will be presenting the women's trophies to both the Division I and Division II sides in this hybrid championship final. Both these teams headed to Tucson. Austin will be in the Division I bracket. Houston Athletic in the Division II bracket.
There'll still be some time left on the clock because Hugan looked at his watch on that one, and he's definitely going to allow the scrum to be formed and roll. So
this may well be the last scrum of the match. It will be to Sharks, so an opportunity just over the mid-line.
if you notice, the Sharks have taken their starting tight head, Nick James, and moved her to fly half.
Not something you see very often.
No, not at all.
But certainly with seconds remaining, you can understand that. Ferris sticks with it, now offloads over to Ulrich Lewis.
Chris Ritchie there with the carry.
Ritchie, one of the new additions, making her presence felt. Down the far side goes Ferris. Ferris, oh, what a tackle. Sends her into touch.
And that's it.
And there is the final, your 2016 Red River Rugby Conference champion for Division I, the Austin Valkyries. Sharks of Houston Athletic, your Division II champion in this hybrid final. Both headed to Tucson. They will be in Division I and II respectively. Grant, an entertaining match. Certainly the second half, much different than the first.
Much different than the first. They both had a hard time finding their feet in the first match, and then once the Valkyries got momentum, they weren't going to let it go. Hart got a little bit of momentum there for about 10 minutes in the second half, made a score out of it, but that was about all they had in them. Once they made that try, it wasn't much that Houston could do after that.
Houston playing from behind the vast majority of this match. It was tight at the break. For the second half, all Valkyries. Again, big thanks to our host, the Austin Huns here at the Austin Huns Rugby Complex, soon to be a professional rugby team as they are set to build a stadium right behind us at this beautiful facility just east of downtown Austin. Thank all of you for joining us this wonderful weekend on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube channel powered by T5RDG. Stick with us as we will have the trophy presentation coming up next. U.S. Rugby Congresswoman Wendy Young with the honor of presenting the trophies. As the Valkyries headed over to greet their fans, and rightfully so.
their fans definitely are exuberant and excited about this win. They've been waiting a year for it.
A vindication of sorts for the Valkyries.
It was a close match last year.
But this year they will get to lift that Division I trophy. And they are waiting just seconds away from doing that. It has been a wonderful weekend. We thank all of you for joining us again one last time. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Congratulations to the Euless Texans, our Division III men's champion. Little Rock Stormers, our Division II men's champion, as they are also headed to Tucson.
And as we wait for the trophy presentation here, we would like to thank everybody who's been watching today at home, and if you're at the watch party, for sticking with us on the Texas Rugby Union website and the T5 Sports presentation of the Red River Rugby Conference Championships.
Big thanks as well to our hosts, the Huns of Austin Rugby. They've been gracious hosts in every sense of the word. It has been a fun weekend. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Grant, it is always a pleasure. My most sincere thanks to you, sir.
Oh, yeah. Kid.
Very rarely do I get the opportunity to work with someone as knowledgeable as you, and I cannot tell you how much I enjoy it.
Well, thank you, kid. It's a great opportunity to get to work with somebody who's as comfortable on the mic and as you are. Easy to work with you, easy to work these matches. This is what, our 7th match so far?
It is indeed, and the great thing is that rugby continues to grow. Hope to bring you more of these matches in the future. And big thanks to our production company, T5RDG, our entire crew, all of our cameramen, Craig Coach, Johnny Smith, the fantastic job they all do. Could not do it without them.
Yeah, and we got some really good guys out here. Cena, one of our cameramen, he's just gone through OCS for the United States Marine Corps, just came back from OCS and stepped into work the camera for us this weekend.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a St. Edward's student.
Rugby player for St. Edward's as well. Go Hilltoppers.
And then Pete Scamardo played rugby at St. Thomas High School in Houston. He goes to UH now. He writes for the Cougar. He's also an aspiring novelist, working on his 3rd novel to finish.
Well, keep an eye on that name for sure.
So definitely got some good guys out here working with us.
We really do. We are very lucky to have you along with us. We could not do it without you supporting rugby. You can always go to TexasRugbyUnion.com for more information. That is the place. Follow Grant on Facebook. He will give you more rugby information than you could ever want. Guy's forgotten more about rugby than I will ever know, as we now send you over to the trophy presentation.
Wheezy's still talking to his charges, but Wendy is making sure that they get called over there. Oh, the trophy. We get a trophy?
Yes, indeed you do. Your 2016 Division I Red River Rugby Conference champion, the Austin Valkyries. And they're skipping a jump, and you can understand why.
And I think they're answering the Running Man Challenge today.
Well, they certainly have done that in emphatic fashion. Again, your champions for Division I, the Austin Valkyries.
Excellent stuff. They are on their way to Tucson for regional play.
Don't forget, because of this hybrid championship, we will also have the Division II champions as well, the Sharks of Houston Athletic. They will be honored momentarily, and rightfully so. Very impressive match from both of these sides. Game of rugby continues to grow here in the Central Texas area, and we're so pleased that you could be a part of it. One last time from the Huns Rugby Complex in Austin, site of the 2016 Red River Rugby Conference Championships. We thank you for joining us here on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube page, powered by T5RDG. For Grant Cole, I'm Kit McConico. We thank you. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. We will see you next time, and until then, enjoy the rugby. now your Division II Red River Rugby Conference Women's Champion, the Sharks of Houston Athletic. Our congratulations to them. A well-played match. They will also be going on to Tucson to represent Division II in our hybrid championship final today. What a match it was. And now, for the last time, our thanks for joining you here on the Texas Rugby Union YouTube page, powered by T5RDG. We will see you next time. Thank you, and a happy Mother's Day weekend to you all.